What's going on, guys? We are in my basement kitchen again, and I am gonna cook you guys a clean cheat, if that makes sense. It's not gonna be super high in calories, but it's gonna give you all the macronutrients you want, plus a lot of micronutrients. And we're also gonna use some shitty cheese, because you guys know how much I like my shitty cheese. So, this is something I make once in a while. If I'm in the off season, I'll make a little bit more than I'm gonna make today. Right now I'm in my downtime, so I'm just trying to maintain muscle mass. I'm not trying to gain a lot of weight, I'm not trying to shred. I'm just kind of maintaining right now while I'm in my off period. So it's gonna be a pretty normal meal. It's not gonna be huge, it's not gonna be shredding, but it's gonna give you guys a way to have something a little bit more enjoyable that's not necessarily gonna ruin your diets or throw you off track. So let's just get started. We're gonna do some egg sandwiches. What I have here is, I have, from my favorite place, Costco, I have my organic eggs. I have an avocado here, full of nutrients, full of fiber, a lot of healthy fats here. And then I have Ezekiel bread, which we're gonna use because Ezekiel bread is a complete protein. For those of you who don't know what Ezekiel bread is, it is a flourless bread. It's a sprouted grain bread, and it's a complete protein, and it's just a lot healthier, digests a lot better for you. And this is what I use when I'm making any kind of sandwich, because I get a little bit of protein out of the bread, and it just digests better than regular flour bread for me. And then, of course, we have some shitty cheese. And if you guys want to know the story behind the shitty cheese, this is how I grew up. Now, I didn't grow up in a wealthy household, and for some reason we always had cheese slices, or we had a jar of Cheese Whiz or something in the fridge. So I grew up on shitty cheese, and it's just still part of my regimen. So in saying all that, we're gonna get started. So the first thing you're gonna do, we're just gonna warm up our frying pan. I'm gonna coat it with a little bit of Pam. Okay, and then grab the eggs. I'm sure you guys all know how to make eggs. I'm sure you guys all know how to make egg sandwiches. This is just one of the ways I do it to make it a little bit healthier. Normally, you would use regular bread, which I feel like it's not horrible. It's not like really bad to have regular bread. It's just, why not get a little bit of extra protein from your bread? And I know it's kind of counterproductive because I'm doing shitty cheese afterwards, but we want a little bit of flavor and a little bit of health. That's kind of what you guys can get from my channel. When you look at my channel, you notice some of the meals are just nonsense, and some of the meals are healthy, and some of the meals are complete garbage. And that's kind of how I've lived my bodybuilding career. Is not everything is, you know, I don't count every single calorie, but I also don't eat complete shit. It's got to be a little bit of a balance for me when it comes to food, or else I'm probably not going to stick to it. We're going to put a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Okay, we're going to cover that. Okay. Normally I would have the toast already in the toaster, but I forgot to do that, so pull the toaster out. Okay, so for those of you who've never bought sprouted grain bread or anything like that, this is frozen. It comes frozen from the grocery store, because when there's no preservatives in your bread, it needs to be kept cold for it to last longer than a few days. So we keep it in the freezer, and then you obviously have to toast it a little longer than regular bread. Now you're gonna get 4 grams of protein per slice. Okay, so what we have here then, we're using 4 slices. So we have 16 grams. And we have 24 grams of protein with the 4 eggs. So that gives us 40 grams of protein. And then we have 5 grams of protein in each slice of cheese. So we have a total of 50 grams of protein. I think there's a few grams in the avocado, but we're not going to count that because it's not a complete protein. But the point I'm trying to make is we got 50 grams, and that's generally what I do in all my meals is I try and get at least 50 grams. So I've reached my macro count for my protein. I'm on a little bit lower carb count right now. So in each slice of Ezekiel bread, we have 15 grams of carbs. So we're gonna do 60 grams total. Normally in like my peak off season, I'd be doing 100 grams of carbs, 125 grams of carbs per meal. But right now, because I'm just in my off period, I'm just trying to maintain, I've reduced the carbs. We're gonna increase the fat. We're gonna use a whole avocado. Okay, so I was talking. So obviously I wasn't paying enough attention. The eggs are a little bit overcooked, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm not a fussy eater, but if you wanna make sure, like, you know, just keep an eye on them. They shouldn't be that. Some people like them a little over easy. Some people like them over medium. Obviously you want to just pull the lid off sooner if you want them done a little bit better, but I don't mind them this way. Okay, so while we're waiting for the toast, guys, it's very simple. You just have to, like, you see different things on my channel. It's not because it has to be this way. It's not because this is the best meal and this is the best way to get big or the best way to put on size. It's one of the ways, okay? There are always a number of different exercises you can do in the gym, just like there are a number of different things you can eat in the kitchen. And the problem most guys run into is they run out of ideas. They run out of things to eat, they run out of things to make, and they just fall off their diets, or they start eating shitty food, they start eating junk food because they don't know what to eat. So the goal is to constantly keep learning so that you can stay interested. You're trying to keep yourself interested. That's what you're doing when you're learning new exercises or when you're learning new meals. You're trying to keep yourself interested. And that's why you do the shitty cheese, because the shitty cheese keeps me happy, right? It gives it just a little bit of flavor and it keeps me interested in it, and it makes me feel like I'm having a little bit of a cheat, even though really this isn't really a cheat. It's just carbs and protein. It's not really anything bad in this whole meal except for literally just the cheese. And we're just gonna do 2 eggs per sandwich. Okay, and then we're gonna get the avocado. I already sliced it when it was in its little shell. So then when I pull it out, I have to kind of slide it onto the sandwich. If you don't like avocado, you can, you want to substitute it with a different fat. I would use if this was my sandwich and I didn't like avocado, what I would do is substitute the avocado with a grass-fed butter, and I would probably butter the toast with a grass-fed butter, and that would be kind of how I would make up that fat count. And then there's a little bit of extra avocado, so all I'm gonna do is just spread it onto the toast. And you can see I'm not adding any mayonnaise or anything like that to this. So like I said, there's nothing really bad in this sandwich. Obviously, if it's like a full-blown cheat for you, you can definitely just, throw some mayonnaise on there. Even if it's not a full-blown cheat, obviously you can add ketchup and shit and whatever, but this is just, for me, for some reason, the avocado just makes it all taste better. And when I have avocado, I don't need to add mayonnaise and ketchup and all that other shit. Actually, before I put the knife away, it's not working out exactly to plan, but That's what they look like. That's your avocado, egg, cheese sandwich. It's healthy. I have all my nutrients here. It keeps me interested, and it gives me an option from my regular fucking egg whites and oatmeal or whatever people are eating every day. This is just a different option to keep you interested. So have some good breakfast, man. Keep growing and stay interested.